What's going on, guys? This is Michael MGF, and today I'll be doing a review that you probably didn't expect I would do on LEGO Minifigures Series 13, which is 100% made up of all famous Simpsons characters from the TV show, and this is super awesome and an amazing expansion to the Simpsons house that was released earlier this year, which unfortunately I missed out on because when you're moving, just pulling $250 out of thin air is really unrealistic, and that's why you probably have noticed that I haven't reviewed a lot of things, and that's the Simpsons house was something that I wanted to review, which didn't pan out, unfortunately, and hopefully the same will not be said for the Sandcrawler. I'll do my best for that one, but anyway, we've got the Series 13 full of Simpsons characters, and this is awesome. We have 16 amazing figures which have fantastic new molds, and this series honestly really expresses the LEGO Group's potential with printing and everything they're capable of, because the printing that they have wrapping around the eyes and their hair pieces and the sleeves, which we really have never seen before, is super awesome. And this minifigure series is really exciting for Simpsons fans especially, and myself included, as the show is really great. And I mean, you can find these in Targets, by the way, just for you guys who are looking for them and still haven't been able to find them. Originally they were showing up in Toys R Us's. Unfortunately, my Toys R Us's did not pull through, but eventually my Targets started to get them, and I honestly think that Target is your best bet with getting these minifigures. More Targets are getting them than Toys R Us so far from what I've heard, so I definitely recommend you go to Targets if you are still looking for these minifigures. But yeah, so without further ado, let's go ahead and take a look at all 16 of these iconic characters that we all know and love from the show. So we're going to start off with Homer Simpson, of course, and his outfit is pretty simple, but I mean, in the Simpsons house we had him in his work clothes with his name tag, while this time around we've got him in his standard shirt. Therefore, printing on his torso is much more minimal, but that's okay. No real printing is required for his torso, not a lot going on, but then no printing on the back of the torso, but I mean, none is really needed. And then we have the same mold that we had for Homer in the actual Simpsons house, but this time around he does not have the printed eyelids, and that's kind of funny because the eyelids have been removed from the entire Simpsons family, but Maggie has the eyelids, but she didn't have eyelids in the house, so it's like the Simpsons family lost their eyelids while Maggie got hers. So it's just kind of something that I thought was strange. Probably my only minor complaint with the minifigure series. Just figured I would address it though, but I'll show you that later in the review when I get to Maggie. But you can see Homer does have sleeves, and that is something that the LEGO Group did introduce with the Simpsons minifigures, is now the LEGO Group is going to be printing sleeves, I guess, on various minifigures in collectible minifigure series, and it looks great. I definitely like to have sleeves, and I mean, obviously you're gonna need sleeves. I mean, there's no real way around it, so I guess the LEGO Group finally made an exception and is finally printing sleeves, at least for the Simpsons minifigures, and it looks great. I mean, it's high quality printing. I mean, I'm honestly am surprised that this has not happened sooner. So yeah, and then of course Homer does get an effing donut. How could you not have a donut for Homer? It is awesome, and of course he's lazy, so I mean, he's got a TV remote, but obviously LEGO could have given him a beer, right? But LEGO's not going to promote that. Regardless, the printing that is wrapped around his eyes and wrapped around his mouth area, and the printing on his actual head, and the hair is actually slightly three-dimensional on the very top there. So really amazing printing, and I love how the LEGO Group is really expressing how they are capable of wraparound printing on the majority of their molds. So that's pretty awesome, and I would have preferred eyelids for the Simpsons family in this series, but it is still nice to get two variations of all the Simpsons family members. So other than that, though, that's pretty much it for Homer. Couldn't have asked for more with this minifigure, but yeah, there you go. The troublemaking Bart is pretty much the exact same as he was in the Simpsons house, and I mean, aside from the fact that he does not have the eyelids printed on like the rest of the Simpsons family, excluding Maggie, he's pretty much the exact same Bart with the exact same skateboard, same lime green color, same red stripes, same purple wheels. It's his board, and we do have the yellow printed onto his stubby legs, which is pretty awesome. Nice level of printing there to show the difference between his actual shorts and his shoes, and that's something we have never seen before on stubby legs, so that's really awesome. And then once again, more printed sleeves, this time in red, and that's really great as well. But amazing mold for Bart, and then of course he's got his slingshot, which is super great. And now I should point out that the printing on these stubby legs actually wraps all the way around on all four sides of each leg. LEGO actually managed to get the printing all the way in there, and that is pretty insane. I couldn't even paint in such a small crevice if I wanted to, so that is pretty amazing. I gotta commend LEGO on even getting the printing all the way inside there, so that's really great and sounded really wrong, but that's why we're going to go ahead and continue on. This is a new variant of Marge Simpson that we did not receive in the Simpsons house. This time we have Marge without the apron, so that's pretty awesome. But you can see accessories-wise, she does have a donut fancy magazine, which is pretty much just a very basic design, printed onto a 2x2 white tile, you know, with the Lego hand and the same donut that we saw Homer sporting, so that's pretty awesome, and definitely a nice accessory. Great little magazine for Marge to have, and you can see that we do also have her purse, so that's pretty cool, and I do not believe that's a new mold. I could be mistaken, but I feel like I've seen that in a Lego Friends set. I don't know. I could be totally wrong, so do not quote me on that. Regardless, you can see that the printing on her torso is relatively simple, but once again, accurate, as their outfits are pretty simple regardless. And you can see that the necklace does continue to wrap all the way around, even though it obviously doesn't go all the way around, but what I meant was the fact that you have the necklace printed on both sides of her torso, and it is definitely pretty awesome. And you can see that the mold used for Marge here is literally the exact same mold that we saw Marge use in the actual Simpsons house, but it's still pretty cool. But you obviously, once again, as I already mentioned, she does not have the actual eyelids printed on, which is a little bit of a loss, but still pretty cool. The eyelashes are still printed on those, so that's nice, as I don't think you could really take that away. But she has her blue beehive hair, which is pretty cool to see actually on a Lego minifigure, and it's just pretty insane. Her hair has always been the biggest question to me, but regardless, you can see she does have her dress, which is a standard cloth piece that we have seen before, just obviously now in a lime green color to match her green dress. But other than that, though, that's pretty much it for Marge, and a great representation of the character. Lisa is pretty much the same as we saw her in the Simpsons house, once again not having the eyelids. I mean, we've seen this mold before. It's a great new mold for Lisa. It looks pretty accurate, and the sculpting behind these characters, or whoever was in charge of sculpting them, I forgot her name, but she did an amazing job with sculpting these. I assume she sculpted the rest of these Simpsons characters, but I am aware that there was one lady who sculpted the pretty much the entirety of the Simpsons family. I'm not sure if she sculpted the rest of these characters that we see in the series, though. Anyway, I'm getting sidetracked. You can see she does have her saxophone that we see her play through the show, and that's really great. I do believe that is a new mold as well, but I am not totally aware. I forget these things, guys, but regardless, it is a nice mold to see pictured with this minifigure, as it's really great. And you can see basic printing on her torso. You shouldn't really expect much, and then that printing does, however, continue around with her standard white pearl necklace and her dress, which does continue all the way down. And you can see under there, we pretty much have the exact same printing that we saw on Bart. Therefore, her skin is exposed, and it does wrap all the way around all four sides of both of her stubby legs. So pretty awesome, and an amazing representation of the character. And once again, her eyes and eyelashes are printed on, and that's pretty much it for Marge. I just said Marge. Gosh damn it. I meant Lisa. And the one-year-old terrorist Maggie, who is a professional with weaponry. She is an amazing minifigure as well. Once again, a new variant of this character, and this is something I really want to address, is that in the Simpsons house, all the Simpsons family members all had eyelids except Maggie. And this time around for the minifigure series, all the Simpsons members don't have eyelids except Maggie, and it's pretty much been reversed. It's just something I wanted to mention. It's kind of a loss, but still pretty awesome to at least see Maggie have the eyelids printed on, and she has her signature bow, the signature pacifier, just amazing printing on the LEGO Group's part. And a benefit from getting her in the collectible minifigure series is she does have her teddy bear, which was not included with the Simpsons house, if I'm not mistaken. And it's the standard teddy bear mold in brown, and you have the stuffing exposed, the eyes messed up, stitching on the top, and just looks great. Great design on the LEGO Group's part. And Maggie uses the exact same molding that we already saw with the Simpsons house. Same exact mold for her head, same exact mold for her baby body, and it's just nice to have the baby mold now in case we ever need to have like actual, you know, baby minifigures in the future. So pretty awesome. And hey, let's give her a gun, because this is great. And I mean, Lego totally wouldn't have like 50,000 lawsuits if they had a baby minifigure holding a gun, right? Oh, the restraints. But, I mean, hey, that's why we have our own guns to give these minifigures once we buy them ourselves, right? Oh, I'm just sending the wrong messages, but regardless, there is Maggie. And we've got the neighbor, Flanders, Ned Flanders, and this is an amazing minifigure on the LEGO Groups part once again, a great character to see represented in a LEGO form, and you can see that the head is actually the exact same head that we saw in the Simpsons house. There is no difference, but it is still pretty cool to see carried over with this variant of Flanders, given that this is a new variant of Flanders, and he does not have his apron on because he's not barbecuing anything, and therefore you have minimal printing on his torso, and that means there is no printing on the back as well, or either. And you can see he does have the same toolbox that we saw in the Simpsons house, but I do not believe it had this sticker on the back. This is actually not an actual sticker, but it's a sticker printed on that says property of Ned Flanders, which is really awesome, and I do not believe this was on the toolbox in the Simpsons house. I could be mistaken. If I am, be sure to let me know. I don't actually own the Simpsons house, therefore I'm just basing that off of pictures I've seen. And he does have an I Heart Southpaws cup, which is a great accessory, especially for Ned Flanders. And if we go ahead and just put that down, though, pretty awesome accessory to have, even though I barely gave it any screen time there. You can see that that's it. That's really it for these minifigures. I'm used to having more detail, but there really isn't a whole lot of detail to be had on Simpsons figures. But there's Ned Flanders, awesome character, and he's diddly awesome. So, yeah. Okay, this is the last member of the Simpsons family. I just went through Flanders there and totally forgot that this is the last member of the Simpsons family. We have Abe here. I had a temporary brain fart there. But yeah, so this mold for Abe is really great and really accurate. I love all the wrinkles that the LEGO Group included. It just looks so much like Abe Simpson. And you can see he has his glasses, of course, right beneath his eyes there. And he does have the eyelids this time around, which I wish we would have seen more of with the actual Simpsons family. But yeah, you can see that he does have the pretty much minimal printing on his sweater there. I mean, you really shouldn't expect much more than that. And it's kind of funny because this is a flesh color, so yeah, I mean, they're all yellow, so I guess LEGO can get away with using a flesh color for his sweater. But I mean, this dude's senile, as we all know, so it's got the Old Man Yells at Cloud newspaper, and it's a great design by the LEGO Group's part, and you can see it says Springfield Shopper Daily News, and let's go ahead and give you a better look at this accessory because it is a really awesome 2x2 printed tile, and it looks pretty cool. So yeah, that's pretty much it for Aves Simpson. He's really awesome to see in an actual LEGO form, but yeah, there you go, Homer's father. Bart's best friend Milhouse here was in the LEGO movie, and he's a master builder, and it's kind of funny because I noticed that while watching the LEGO movie in February, and I was like, holy crap, there's Milhouse. We haven't even seen him yet, or any of the other collectible minifigure series at the time. LEGO had yet to reveal any of them, so to see Milhouse, it was pretty exciting, and now we've got him in a physical form, and he's a master builder now, apparently, so that's pretty cool. But yeah, so Milhouse's new mold is really awesome, and you can see the likeness is definitely there with his red glasses and giant nose and blue hair. Really great design, and you can see that he does have the red glasses suffering from a little bit of a printing flaw there, which isn't that big of a problem, nothing really to address, given that it's honestly, you can't really avoid that when you're mass producing something like that. But yeah, he's got his standard light purple shirt on the sleeves as well, which is really cool, and I love that we're getting all these different colors of sleeves with this collectible minifigure line, because for like LEGO City sets, for example, it'll be, I mean, you can now have sleeves for any minifigures that have a yellow skin tone, so that's pretty cool. And speaking of yellow skin tone, his skin tone is exposed on his stubby legs, and these are pretty much, that means these are the exact same legs that we saw his crush Lisa sporting earlier in the review. But yeah, now he does have a comic right there, which is Radioactive Man. Hopefully we'll see Radioactive Man as a figure later on in the future, because I mean, it's pretty cool to see him in a LEGO form on a comic. So yeah, and then we've got Biclops on the top there, just a pretty simple design, but still pretty cool to see Radioactive Man in a LEGO form. Hopefully we'll get that in a physical form as well. But there's Milhouse. And we've got Ralph here, and Ralph is one of my favorite characters from the show, so I'm really glad that he ended up being made instead of Moe, because originally LEGO was considering making Moe, and for obvious reasons, he's kind of a bartender. They ended up going with Ralph here instead, and how could you not have Ralph Wiggum? I mean, I can't believe LEGO Group was even considering not having Ralph here, but yeah, I'm glad we did get him regardless. And just kind of a warning here is Milhouse and Ralph both have their pretty much the exact same mold, except their head molds. Their heads are obviously unique, but other than that, they literally are made of the exact same components, just in different colors and with different designs, so it can be kind of a pain when trying to differentiate between the two when you're feeling through the baggies. But yeah, so The mold is spot on, the printing is great, and it is obviously spot on to his hair, his bizarre and awesome hair, but that is pretty great to see, and the eyes printed on there, and the expression is definitely right, and you can see we do have this little magazine slash book that says, I choose you, happy Valentine's Day. So, I mean, that is totally something Ralph would have a hold on. So, I mean, it's pretty great to see with the minifigure, and you can see we do have his blue shirt as well with the belt there, with the red buckle, and his standard pair of brown shorts, and of course he does have stubby legs, but other than that, that's pretty much it for Ralph.
Welcome to your new home, Neglectorinos!
We're on a play date!
I have a feeling some bad stuff is about to go down.
And we've got Apu, the owner of the quickie store that they all use, and it is great to see him, and the likeness is great, and the mold is awesome with his mustache there, the eyes printed on, and the hair looking great as well in gray. He's got his standard clothing, we always see him. He's got a little bit of hair on his chest there, and other than that, the printing is relatively simple with his green coat that he wears, but then he's got a squishy, of course, and you can see that this is actually a new mold. It is pretty much mimicking that of a one-by-one cylindrical brick, and it's just pretty much that, but instead you have a lid on it, and that is pretty cool. And this lid cannot actually be removed. This is one solid mold, but it is still really great to see Lego delve into this sort of mold, because I mean, it's about time that we get something that looks like this, but I'm glad they introduced it with a squishy. So other than that though, that's pretty much it for Apu here, and he's pretty freaking awesome and a great representation of the character on the Lego Group's part, and who knows, maybe his squishy is expired, but can squishies go expired? I don't think so. Regardless, words defy me. That's it for Apu. And we've got Chief Wiggum, and I mean, hey, we've got Ralph's father to go with him, and that's pretty great to see. You can see that this is pretty much a completely unique minifigure, obviously, and he's got a lot more printing than the majority of these minifigures do. At least he's got some leg printing, and you can see it looks great. He's also got some printing on his arms there, which is outlined in black, so that's pretty cool as well. And speaking of printing, he's actually got some orange printing on his megaphone, and that's pretty great, because I mean, you got to give it to Lego for getting their machines, whatever it is they use to print, to actually be able to fit into the crevices of a actual you know, megaphone piece. But yeah, so you can see he does have his Billy Club as well, and the Billy Club is a totally new mold, and that is pretty nice. Fairly simple, but great to see with this minifigure. And then obviously his head mold being unique, looks great with his police hat and his hair printed on there as well. So I mean, overall, great representation of the character. Couldn't have asked for more. I never liked Nelson, but at least we got him in here because we all know him for going haha, right? Regardless, we've got Nelson, and he's pretty cool to see. He's got the standard pair of legs, and this is actually the exact same pair of legs that we saw with Bart, the very dude that he bullies for the most part, and that's pretty great to see. And you can see we've got a baseball bat, which we have seen before, and the mold for Nelson is pretty awesome with his long hair, and it's just really a great representation of this character, and the torso printing being fairly simple, not much is required, but that's pretty much it for Nelson. I mean, it's Nelson. There's not really much else to say. He's got his pair of sleeves, which is pretty cool. So I mean, once again, great to see even more colors with the whole new concept of having printed sleeves. The richest man in Springfield, of course, we've got Mr. Burns, Homer's boss, the one who will probably eventually be responsible for destroying their city with pollution. But yeah, so this minifigure is really great. The head mold is absolutely fantastic, and his hair being printed on, it looks great. And you can see that we do have his three-eyed fish, Blinky, printed onto a clear Lego head. This is the only actual Lego head that we receive in this minifigure lineup, so that's pretty freaking awesome. And it's great to see freaking Blinky in this series. I didn't honestly expect the Lego Group would actually go that far as to make this three-eyed badass, but he is printed on there, so that's pretty great to see. But we do have a radioactive bar also included with Mr. Burns here, so that's pretty cool, in a trans green color, obviously shorter than that of a standard Lego rod piece, and he is in his standard green suit, so very basic printing on the torso there. But yeah, and he's got his moles on the top there, so that's pretty cool to see. But other than that though, he's got his pointy nose, and all of his really nicely sculpted, well-designed glory of Mr. Burns. So that's pretty much it for him, though, and there you go. Blinky. And we've got Krusty. Freaking Krusty, man. Poor dude can't remember Lisa or Bart for his life, but it's still pretty cool to get him. And you can see he's got his signature hair, and the printing is absolutely fantastic. I love the way it looks. He's got his red nose, and of course a big smile. And he's got his pie with yellow cream in the center there. Once again, great printing on the Lego Group's part. And I believe this is a new piece. I'm not sure. I think we might have seen this in a previous Lego minifigure series, but if we have, it's still a really nice piece to get regardless. And you can see we do have a pair of pink sleeves, so once again expanding the color variety with the whole new concept of sleeves. It's great to see. Basic pair of lime green legs. So I mean, it's Krusty the Clown, really awesome minifigure, and this TV show host badass is officially in a Lego form. And we've got Scratchy as part of Krusty's show, and Scratchy is really awesome, and obviously he's got his axe to defend himself from the evil might of Itchy, who is going to torture him, and I would get an axe too. But yeah, the mold is great, the eyes are great, the determination is definitely there, the pink nose and red tongue, and the teeth, the printing is great, it looks just like Scratchy. The torso printing is minimal, there's really not much to print on the Scratchy's torso, but it is still a great representation of the character. No back printing, but he does have a newly molded tailpiece, and this is completely new with a very thin section that will pretty much go right on the two knobs on the standard pair of Lego legs, and the tail is a great design. I love how Lego Group portrayed his tail, and honestly I think we'll probably see this with future minifigures, as it is definitely very useful for characters with tails. So that's really great to see that new mold actually happen, and especially that they introduce it with Scratchy. For the 16th and final minifigure of this review, we've got Itchy, the one that pretty much ruins Scratchy's day with his caveman club included. And this is a mold we've seen before, but it's definitely great to get with Itchy here. And Itchy looks great with his orange sleeves printed onto a pair of sand blue arms, his stubby legs, and of course the orange jacket that he does wear. And pretty minimal printing on this torso as well, but once again, you really don't, there's not much to be printed. And no printing on the back, but the head mold is absolutely fantastic, and the ears are really great. And I mean, I love the way the eyes are printed. It's pretty great to see the amount of emotion the Lego Group was able to capture by just printing, you know, only like a few sections on their faces. So I think it's really great the Lego Group was able to achieve such a level of emotion throughout this entire series. And I just love the Simpsons minifigures finally happened. And honestly, some of my knowledge about the show might have been a little bit itchy because that was horrible, because I haven't seen the show in a little while, but it's been a little while. So I mean, if I did mess anything up or if I forgot anything, then I do apologize for that, but I did my best just on my basic knowledge of the show. But regardless, guys, that is it for this video, so let's go ahead and wrap it up, and hopefully you stuck around.
Oh my God!
Hello, operator, give me the number for 911.
Can you repeat the part of this stuff where you said all about things?
And there you have it, all 16 of the new Simpsons minifigures. And thank you if you stuck around all the way through, and if you enjoyed this review or found it informative, be sure to leave it a like below, as your support is very much appreciated. It is not as easy as you might think to review 16 very unique minifigures by the Lego Group, and let alone actually feeling through all the baggies at Target to get them all. So like I said, your support is very much appreciated. And on that note, I really want to mention that I haven't had a video out in over a week, and that is simply because I have, one, I don't have a lot to do videos on, and two, I am working on a lot of customs, the Amazing Spider-Man 2 figures in particular, that I really want to showcase on May 1st, and that is why you honestly have not been seeing as many videos from me as I would like to, you know, present to you guys. So, I mean, when the Amazing Spider-Man 2 showcase goes up, though, it is definitely going to be worth it, as you guys will see on May 1st, as I'm really looking forward to the film, and that is what I've been working on primarily, and that is why there has not been a video in over a week is because I'm really working hard on those minifigures. But I am going to fill that gap from now until the release of The Amazing Spider-Man 2 with the leftover Star Wars reviews that I still have yet to do on the, Tri-Fighter and those other sets. I can't guarantee that, but I am leaning toward finishing off those reviews for you guys. But these Simpsons minifigures are fantastic. As I mentioned, I mean, maybe a little bit of printing on a few of the characters would have been nice, but I mean, above all though, if you didn't get the Simpsons house, this is the next best thing. And I mean, honestly, my only big complaint that's really even worth noting is the fact that their eyes, honestly, I would have preferred to have the emotion in their eyes like they had in the actual house. But I mean, other than that, that's honestly just a nitpick. These minifigures are great, and you should definitely go pick one up and feel through them to make sure you get the ones you want. Once again, at Target if you are still looking for them. But you can also follow me on Twitter and Facebook. Links to both of those are also in the description below. And there I post all kinds of behind the scenes photos and updates of what I'm up to and what's to come for my channel. And I mean, if you really want to stay with me, YouTube is where I post all of the awesome things. And then if you want to see how those awesome things happen and what I'm doing to make those awesome things awesome, then I definitely recommend you check those out because it's recommended if you want to stick with me. But anyway, I think that's about it for this review, guys, and I will catch you later. All right.
Bye.
My fellow master builders, including...
You know, I gotta ask, why is Milhouse a master builder? I mean, wouldn't Homer be more recognizable? Series oriented around, what the hell? What's going on, guys? It's Michael MGF. That's too far. MGF, and today I'm gonna be doing another Lego. I can't say another because I haven't done one of these in 2 years, so I probably shouldn't say another. Marge is actually this is Lego minifigure series. What series number is it? Is it 13, I think? And I'm hearing that they're Morley? I just totally... And we've got one of my favorite characters...